But I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to throw out a few of the events that we've done at our shop, just to kind of sometimes get your creative juices going on what you can do at the shop. Again, like I said, when we opened on a shoestring budget. So the one thing that we had to look inside ourselves was, okay, what do we have that's not money that we can actually do to get the word out there about our shop, right? Well, my background is in production. So directing productions, creating productions, writing productions, creating sets for productions, you name, coaching people in productions, that's my background, drama and music. And so that's what we tapped into for what we were doing. And so it may not be, you know, what I'm going to describe is probably look different than what you would do or whatever, but if it helps to get your creative juices going, great. It's a lot of work, especially when you don't have the money, because you're the one doing the work, and it's sweat equity that we're putting in. One of the things we started immediately after we opened was every 3 months we would do a themed party for our brides. So we did a Gatsby party, and there was a local bed and breakfast that had just opened, and they wanted to get advertising as well, so it was a wedding venue, basically. So we did a Gatsby party. This was just for our brides who purchased, right? So we contact all of them. They know the parties are when they buy their dress. We tell them a party is coming every 3 months and that they'll get all the news on it, but we only take so many brides for the party, so they need to RSVP and tell us how many people are coming with them. But for the Gatsby one, we had them all dress up for it, so everybody's dressed up very Gatsby. We told them it would be at an undisclosed location, and we had them meet at our shop. So they're all dressed up in Gatsby stuff, and we get lots of cool photos at our shop of them in Gatsby stuff, right? And then we take them in limos over and the limos did it for advertising to the brides. So we had limousines take them to the bed and breakfast. We had a local vintage china company that had all the china for the event. They let us use that. Local catering catered it. We got dance instructors to teach like Charleston and things like that. We made a dance floor on the parking area with just a piece of, what's it called, babe?
It's like linoleum.
Linoleum from, like...
It was nice, though. It was really nice.
It's really nice. Linoleum. And it was like a wood floor type thing, and we just laid it out there. We got it, you know, for either really cheap or free as a remnant from Home Depot. So we put it out there. We decorated with the stuff from our shop. We put out tables and chairs. We had Gatsby music playing. We had a kind of a movie screen-like thing. We had the Gatsby movie playing. So the dance part was really fun. It was really fun. Everybody's dressed up in Gatsby. They're learning this dance. They're learning something new, and they're with their partners, and that was fun. Then after we did that and we ate, then we did a session where Gabe and I kind of started doing advertising for our next event by doing this. We shared some what we called Live, Laugh, Love. So it was like men's brains work like this, women's brains work like this, and kind of talking through it as a funny presentation, but it's very helpful counseling-wise, because we were going to do, the next event was going to be Live, Laugh, Love, which was a full 3 hours of kind of talking about relationship. And so, again, what drives what we're doing is what our story is, and then what is our mission ultimately, and then it defines our motion. So one of the things that we really care about is at the beginning of this process is when brides are most hopeful about love, right? So what an awesome thing to fan that flame. So that's kind of our goal, to get them to understand more of love and avoid conflicts that might happen. So that was one event. Our very first grand opening did not happen right as we opened. We did our grand opening 3 months after we were open. If you've never done a grand opening, or if you've been open for like a round number of years, like 5 years or 10 years, and you never did a big explosion, or even if you did do a big explosion opening, it's another excuse to do another one. And one of the things that's most important about doing an event, in my opinion, is the promo of it. Every time I do an event, the promotion of it is on my brain. Like, how do I get this out? In what ways can I get this out? And so, I'll get to the fashion shows in a second, because that's always a question too, like fashion shows with bridal shows. But our grand opening, one of the best things we ever did was we had a photography competition. And so we invited every photographer in the state of Virginia that we could, basically, we didn't know anybody who were new to the bridal industry, but we invited every photographer we could find, new or experienced. We didn't know who's good in this area, right? We invited everybody. We told them if you come, you'll get a press badge. You'll get to take pictures during the fashion show, and after the fashion show, you can pose the models anywhere in our shop, around our shop, and get as many pictures as you want. From there, they would post on Facebook, and Instagram wasn't as big, I don't know, 4.5 years ago really as it is now, but so mostly it was on Facebook, but their favorite picture on Facebook, on their page and on ours. And then after a week, whoever got the most likes got free advertising in our shop for a year. So what happened was we had 20 photographers, professional photographers, competing to take the best pictures of our event, the best pictures of our models. And they were putting them all over Facebook. And then some of them were holding their own competitions and saying to their people, to their clients, if you'll help me win this, I'm gonna give away a free family session or whatever. So then they were sharing our pictures. And so there was this like explosion of pictures of our event that went everywhere. And it's established something's going on there. You know what I mean? So we had a red carpet, people were dressed up, we had a DJ that announced people as they came. But all of this, with those red stanchions out in front of our shop, we had stage lights shooting, with stanchions and stage lights, fashion show, and 20 photographers that looked like paparazzi. The whole town was stopping and looking. People across the street were stopping and watching whatever was happening. And we made sure our fashion show came out and onto the sidewalk, on the red carpet, and then out. And we had golden tickets that you had to have in order to get to the event. And we had them designed like theater tickets because we are a theater. And so they were gorgeous theater tickets. And one person posted on Facebook, I've got mine, with a picture of it. And from that point forward, it was like everybody's calling, how do I get one? How do I get one? How do I get one? So we were like, oh, we're emailing all these, and they had to bring them, and they bring them, and it was just a really big deal. But the promo of those pictures was huge, and the atmosphere it created was huge. And photographers loved it. I had so many photographers tell me, we never get this type of environment. We're normally at a wedding by ourselves taking pictures. But to be side by side with other photographers actually competing was fun for them. And it was fun for the photographer who won. And we made a big deal about who won, and she got advertising on our website and everything for that year. And we did the same thing for another event that we did called Fashion of the Opera, where there was a local lady who creates these really cool masks, and so we had special occasion and bridal and just very avant-garde masks that they wore. We invited Patrick Ahern, I was telling somebody about it, not in the session, but he was one who his niece did a princess treatment, but he's used to be on Broadway. Now he's artistic director at the theater in our town. And so we asked him to come. He was the original traveling Phantom for the traveling version of Broadway. So he sang live at our event, and while the models came down in their masks and everybody dressed up. And for that event, we had a cake competition. We asked 3 bakers to make cakes based on our theme, and so they got judged on the theme and the taste. So we have free refreshments for our event with really cool cakes, and they were really excited to try to win. And everybody's tasting it. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I had a shop tell me one time at a 2-day intensive, no, it wasn't actually 2-day intensive, I was just chatting with her. She said, events don't work for my store. I tried to have a cake tasting and nobody showed up. And my brain was like, why would a bride want to come to a cake tasting at a bridal shop? She doesn't think that way. A bride doesn't think that way. If you're not thinking as a bride would think. So she wants to come to a high-end fashion event and bring her girls and enjoy this fashion show and possibly win something and all of that, and then have wonderful cake and get to vote on which cake is the best. But a cake tasting is the wrong approach. So you can have a similar thing, but absolutely flop. But this actually, they loved it. Then we make this little sign that says Ava Lurie Bride Cake Competition winner. And the bakers love to have something like that hanging in their shop. So have something, always be thinking, when you're working with a vendor, I want your brain working overtime, how you can promote that vendor. That creates good relationships to where they want to be a part of what you're going to do. And they'll bend over backwards to do things for you because they know, whether it's the smallest thing of like doing Facebook Live right then, interviewing them at a bridal show, form those relationships of I'm promoting who you are when you're doing something like this, and they will bend over backwards. There was something else that crossed my mind that I said I was going to come back to, and I forget what it was. If you remember what it was. Okay.
Fashion shows.
Sorry.
Fashion shows.
What's that?
Fashion
Fashion
shows.
show. Thank you. Girl, Tara back there. So fashion shows. One of the things I want to tell you about fashion shows, I get questions a lot. Are fashion shows and bridal shows worth doing? Like, I just feel like it's a lot of work and we don't get a lot of return for it. Which is a very valid point. They're a lot of work, and if you're providing the models, then you're fitting them, and then it's wear and tear on your dresses, you name it. First, I know designers will not like me saying this, but I like when we're going to do one of our big fashion shows, we have a trunk show that weekend. So we're using their dresses for the trunk show. I like to save my dresses. I don't want to, and the fashion shows are rough on dresses, makeup-wise and speed-wise. They're just in a hurry. And so it's hard for them to take care of the dresses. So a trunk show dress with boobs. But but honestly, it's great. And then it's a good advertising for that particular trunk show. You'll get more out of the trunk show if you have my bag with it. But I want to tell you the key, I just felt so excited once this finally gelled in my brain, because that amount of work, I wanted to come away with stuff. And what happens is, when you're also doing the fashion show for a bridal show, well, let me back up. Our first year, we did 22 fashion shows. So when I'm saying sweat equity, that's what we were doing. We were doing sweat equity, get our name out there. We were doing shows in our shop, we were doing shows at other venues, we were doing shows at bridal shows. Then we did 4 shows in 1 week one time. Like, it was continuous. And we had models that were awesome. They were just the sweetest girls. We didn't pay one of them. They just loved our shows. Well, in that year, we made a name for ourselves in how we do a show. So now, from that point, I've never paid to do a fashion show. I never did that first year because we were new, and I was like, we're new, I can't pay for this. And they were fine with that. But sometimes you look at these big shows. So let me tell you my stipulations for doing the show. I don't pay to be a part of the show. I provide the models for the show. So that I'm not trying to fit size 0s and 2s in my size 14 dresses. Okay? I want I want the models to fit in the dresses well. So I choose my models. So I bring the models. We choose the music, because this is all branding for my shop. We choose the music. I get to introduce the show. I get to close the show. The DJ just introduces me, and then he closes after me, but he doesn't talk during my show. I'm the only shop in the show. So those are my stipulations. If you're satisfied with me doing that, we come do the show. And we will, because our shows got so much attention and pictures and whatnot, it's a draw for brides. So the shows want us to come, because then brides want to come. If they say we're having a Native Women Bride fashion show, then they think more brides will show up, which that's a perk. If it's true or not, I don't know, but they think that, so that's good. Well, what I do is this: I don't even worry about a booth half the time, because I'm about to get all of the brides at once. And I'd rather say all my info one time to all the brides while I have the stage than say it 1,000 times to all the brides going by the booth. So there are shows that we do that we just have a booth and we don't do the fashion show. For reasons of they're not going to fit our stipulation. They have lots of shows in it, or shops in it. You have to pay $2,000 to be a part of it, all that stuff. That's not us, right? So there have been times at those particular shows where we've done our own fashion show at our booth. We run 2 booths, and we'll set up a thing. I have 3 models, and every 20 minutes we do a fashion show. And we have chairs, we have little stage lights, and I would talk during that show and win them over to the princess treatment, talk about all the things, but we would gather about 60 people around us every 20 minutes. We were like blocking all the walkways. The other vendors hated it, but we had a blast, and brides were like going to it. It was a lot of fun. And I think that the other vendors who had paid $2,000 to be part of the fashion show were like, oh, crud. Because we got the same effect, even more so. They were more impressed with our gowns, and they got to feel more like exclusive, sitting 20 at a time while 60 people tried to stand and wait. Question?
Did that bridal show let you do that again?
Yeah, they love us coming. So yes. That was our question going in, too. It's a great question. We were like, are we going to get in trouble? We don't know if we're doing it. And then we did it. And the Casey, who's in charge of the show, she came by, she was like, you guys, genius, love it. And I'm like, yay. We did. We have a structure that my husband built that we actually use for other shows as well, but we made it smaller, and it was tight. Those girls did miracles in there. They did. I don't know how they did what they were doing, but the 3 of them, it was really tight. But it was in that, and then there was the 20 chairs, so a small runway, and then we had a sign that had written on their next show in 20 minutes, whatever, and then yeah.
Was there an additional fashion show?
Yes. Yeah. Did I have a mic? For this little one, I did not need a mic. There was only 20 of us, so I had music though. Music playing, and mic would be great. Yeah. monopolize those airwaves. Yes. 5 minutes, okay. So the fashion show things you need to know about doing a big fashion show where you're going to introduce it. You may be thinking, Wendy, I am not a public speaker. I cannot get up there. I'm freaked out at the thought of it. Don't even talk to me about this. Find someone who can speak well for you. If you're really afraid of it, find someone. But I would submit to you, don't do a show unless you can have someone talk before and after. This is your chance, guys. This is a excited, hopeful, and captive audience. So get somebody who can rule the stage and do a few things. One, you want to make sure you get promo out of it, yes? So the first thing I do, congratulate everyone, because you need to do that, right? Congratulations to all the brides in the room. Are you so excited? Can't wait to meet all of you. We're Able and Bride. I want you to do real quick is take out your cell phones, and I want you to do a little video that says, I'm at an Able and Bride fashion show, and post it and hashtag it, Able and Bride. 36 seconds and go. Everyone's doing it, right? Not y'all. But you can do it too, that's fine. No, but and everybody's like, I'm at an Able and Bride fashion show, and posting it. Suddenly I've got however many, 350, 600 people, boom, social media explosions, Able and Bride fashion show. So that's huge. Before the show, I forgot to tell you this, before the show, I have my models in their Able and Bride t-shirts. It says, I'm an Able and Bride. And they go out to you know how the girls sit there for like an hour and a half saving their seat for the fashion show? So they go out to anyone sitting, and this is 30 minutes before the show, because 15 minutes before the show they get in their gowns. So for 15 minutes, I have my models go around, meet everyone, introduce themselves to everyone, get a selfie with them, and have them post it. We post it as well. We're meeting the brides, we're making the brides love the models from the get-go, right? It's important, yes?
Did you just say your models are your past brides?
No, but I do use some of my past brides for models.
That's such a good idea.
Yes, it's a great idea, and most of my models are girls that work for me. So that's also a great idea. It's so awesome because they meet the brides, and then the brides see them on the stage, and then when the brides come in, they're like, oh, I saw you, I loved it, I got a picture of it. And it's a great connection. So yeah, former brides is our pool for where we choose models from. And I would encourage you to show a lot of diversity in the kinds of models that you're using. But secondly, choose music their brides feel something. I need to tell you this, there's lots for me to tell you, but they are not at market. They are not business owners at market looking at dresses in New York Fashion Week. It's not who they are. They're brides. They're in this world of love. They want music that accompanies them wherever they go that sounds like something from a movie of love. Right? When you see a movie where two people are falling in love, you don't have hard beat, catwalk music. You need to know your audience. You want your brides to be crying at the end of your fashion show. Isn't it a conflict of interest to try to play party music when they can't get up and dance, they have to sit? That actually looks like the DJ's failing, right? So it's a little bit like everybody's like trying to dance but can't dance, and then it's all that. Focus on how you want it to feel. We want them to feel something when they see a dress, because it is the most self-expressive garment they're ever going to purchase, right? So we want them to feel something. Play music that will allow them to feel something. I love the piano guys. I love Michael Bublé. I love Catherine McPhee, her Somewhere Over the Rainbow feels something. I love Mama Cassman, she's Dream a Little Dream. I love, there's Broadway songs, there's songs that are full of emotion that you want to put in there, and then your models need to walk to the music. It's a slower walk. It's a walk that says, don't you love this dress? It's not a pageant walk. A pageant walk says, look at me. A model walk for a bridal gown should say, look at the dress. Okay? So I suggest not so much pageant girls. They struggle. They struggle. They're so used to being like, and this is my pose. Right? And everyone, it makes the dress trite somehow. You need someone who understands the emotion of the dress and the music and the audience. So, important. Okay, so the models go out, take a selfie with all the brides sitting. Then the models go back and get ready. When I come up, everybody does their 6-second video, or however long it is, or picture, or whatnot, because they're going to be, I'll tell them, you want to do this. There's going to be a reason you want to do this, so make sure you do this. There's a drawing at the end. Everybody's doing it. And then I will ask any of you, which ones, I've got $100 that I want to give away to a bride here. So if you were one of the people who took a picture with a model beforehand, go ahead and stand. If you're a bride here and you don't have your dress, and you took them off, and then some of them will stand. Be like, awesome. So this is not enough, I think. So we're going to do, if you got a business card from one of us beforehand and don't have your dress yet, go ahead and stand. And they all stand. You know what? Okay, if you're a bride here and you don't have your dress yet, go ahead and stand. And they stand. I'll say, all of you, if you find your dress on your first time enabler and bride, you schedule your appointment here today, all of you get $100 off your dress. And it's like this Oprah moment, right? Where and inevitably, there will be brides sitting there who just got their dress from me the weekend before. And they're like, not so thrilled. And I'm like, and if you are already an enabler and bride and you are here at this show just for coming, you get a free gown preservation for your dress. And that's a $299 value. So they actually won more than the other brides. And then they're all like, oh, well, I knew I loved your gown. It's great. So they've already won something, it's very positive. Then I will tell them my 3 secrets to finding your perfect dress. Can we just stop for a second and can we just soak in? You just get 300 to 600 to how many brides are at your shows? Brides that you get to tell what you want to tell them. What do you want to tell them? What? What do you want to tell brides? What do you feel like, I wish brides knew this? Or I wish brides wouldn't do this? What is it?
We'll take really good care of you.
Sure, we'll take really good care of you. Now everybody can say, now what do you want brides though to know that they feel like they make wrong decisions based on? What are some of the things they do that frustrate you? Let me put it that way. Bring a lot of people. What else?
Wait until the last minute.
Shut what?
Wait until the last minute.
Wait until the last minute. What else? Budget. Don't know budget. Sure, not to settle, that's great. Well, I think also, wasn't the question, how do you get them to buy on their first time in? Yeah. So I tell them my 3 top secrets. There's probably 10 we want to give, but I'll limit it to 3. Guess what? They're here to see a fashion show, and I get to talk to them, and they all sit and wait and love it. I'm educating them. I think this is great, right? I tell them about who we are, where we're located, but the 3 things they need to know. 1, have an idea of your budget. And some brides don't know what their budget should be. So at our shop, our price point goes from $1,000 to $5,000. That gives you a good idea. Anywhere there, the majority of our gowns are going to fall between $1,300 and $2,500. So I'm educating them. I want to have that opportunity, right? And I tell them they need to know their budget. Secondly, I tell them bring people who truly love you, who are interested in you expressing yourself. Because I give them the example. If you tell the person, I want you to come with me because you're going to be honest with me and tell me when I look bad at something. That's basically you're asking someone, would you please come with me and tell me how bad I look the whole time? Right? And no one wants that experience. So I tell them, this is the most self-expressive garment you'll ever purchase. Bring people who love you. I really don't give them a number. In our email, we say we can accommodate up to 4. But in this fashion show, we're talking about not limits. We're talking about like just freedom feeling, yes? So you're going to tell them, bring people who love you. And the third thing that you want to know is be ready for love to happen when it happens. Because you cannot plan a life moment. By definition, it's a life moment. So when you go gown shopping, know that magic can happen when you put them on. And it might be your first shop. It might be your 10th shop. But no, when it happens, be ready to embrace it. Be ready for it to happen. You don't want it to happen that you came and you weren't expecting it to happen, then no one's here who you need. You want to be ready for magic to happen when it happens. What am I doing? I'm prepping them to realize and educate them this could happen on the first time in. And I almost want to start creating, I want it to happen on the first time in, right? So yeah, that's also in the webinar, but this is those 3 things. And then I will tell them, at the end of this show, I'm going to let you know what price point those gowns were. And the most often question we get asked is, do you have plus size gowns? And we have the best selection of plus size gowns in our state and states beyond us. We have the best collection, so that's another question. I'll tell them that. This is the most often asked question. I tell them about our private Facebook page. I tell them about our princess treatment. Then after I tell them all that, I'm like, are you ready to now see the gowns you're going to see when you come into our shop? Yes? And they're like, yes! Because they got this $100 down in their head I'm going to have. And so say, all right, here we go, we're going to start the show. Because I don't say it like that. I'm going to start the show, making a big deal. Go off, everybody's clapping, music starts. Show starts, nobody's talking during the show. DJ doesn't slaughter how to say ruching and bodice and everything. You know, I feel like it's so pointless to tell the brides they're looking at lace when they can see they're looking at lace. So let the gown speak. And then after the show, I will come and tell them, so the price point of gowns you saw were from here to here. All you have to do for your $100, schedule that appointment with Gabe at the booth over here. We need your email address, know your appointment time, or at least your email address to lock it in, and then you have your $100. Thanks so much. Have a great night. Congratulations, and off we go. And there will be a line of brides at our booth. Creates the perception as well, the understanding as well of other vendors there to go, goodness, they get brides. I want to be connected with them. And that, my friends, is how we establish the cast and crew, where vendors pay us to be a part of things that we do and advertise with us. So it's all in it was a 22 fashion show year that built the ability to now only do 2 or 3 a year. But they're really I like to tell a story in the show as well, bring in other professionals too. One question? Yes. Did I pick somebody at the end to win the hashtag? No, I didn't say that. At the end of the fashion show, yes, thank you. At the end of the fashion show, we pick someone to win a trip. So we have, there's a, you can talk to me about this, but there's a people that we bought it from where you can buy a certain number of trips, you know, and it's really inexpensive, but like trips to Vegas or Punta Cana, or what's that how you say it? Anyway, a lot of different places, but they're really inexpensive. Is that the word? That's the word, right? Punta Cana, thank you. Yeah. Someday I'm gonna go there. So we call them up, and whoever wins that hashtag, we're hashtagging from the video, they win a free trip. And I'm telling you, that's like, yeah, they're just so excited. So it's a lot of winning question time. Yeah, we gotta go. All right, and we can't take any more questions. Or at the booth, we can take questions, or right after. I'd love to talk to you. Thanks again for your attention. You guys are fabulous.